Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Trial by Magus. Today I'm taking a viewer request to cover an aircraft that a lot of people, including myself, have difficulty flying properly. This is the Tier 5 German multi-role Focke Wulf Fw.190A-1, formerly known as the Fw.190V. This is the first true multi-role fighter that you're going to encounter in the normal tech tree for Germany. This is an aircraft that was designed by Kurt Tonk of the Focke Wulf company at a time when the Luftwaffe was not really looking for another fighter. They were quite happy with the Messerschmitt Bf.109 model fighter, but Focke Wulf produced this little beast anyway and presented it after the disastrous outcome for Germany in the Battle of Britain. The aircraft was considered for use and taken on board. The Fw.190 is a much more sturdily built aircraft than the Bf.109 or any of the other Tier 5 German fighters available. That would be the Me-209V and the Heinkel HE-100. The Fw.190 can take a bigger pounding than all of them. However, the Fw.190 has its drawbacks to go along with that excellent durability and wonderful firepower. Namely, she can't turn for anything. This fighter has turn radiuses on par with lighter, heavy fighters like the P-38. Yes, it can outmaneuver the P-38, but it just edges it out. Every other fighter, you are not going to have a shot at outmaneuvering in this thing, so you have to adjust your battle strategy appropriately in the Fw.190, and that's a difficult thing to do, especially with the meta of World of Warplanes being what it is. You want to get high altitude with as fast and as maneuverable a fighter as you can get, and durability and firepower really don't come into play so long as you use the strengths of altitude and speed and turning ability. And unfortunately, the Bf.109E owns that entire territory. So if you're looking to fly competitively and get your scores up as high as possible, I would suggest that you continue working on the Bf.109E and its and the later developments in that particular line. However, if you are in for team play, or you just love the Focke Wulf line of aircraft, this is definitely a worthy fighter to add to your hangar. Just be aware that it has drawbacks that experienced pilots will capitalize on against you. Now, what you got going for you in this thing is the heaviest frontal firepower of any German fighter at Tier 5. You've got a series of 4 7.92mm machine guns. That's 2 of them here above the nose to fire through the prop. An additional 2 here at your wing roots that also fire synchronized through the prop. And then you've got a pair of 20mm cannons mounted midway out on the leading edge of your wing. The Fw.190, being a multi-role aircraft, also is capable of carrying an assortment of bombs. It can carry 4 50-kilogram bombs. Not that much for Tier 5. If you get up-tiered in this thing and you're carrying bombs, you'll have to drop all of them on a hardened target to take it out. And until you drop those bombs, you are at a serious disadvantage. You'll be at low altitudes where you can be caught by things like Spitfires, Mile M20s, Zeros, and all of those aircraft can create a huge headache for you if they catch you at low altitude and low energy while you're trying to make a bomb run. So I run my Focke Wulfs completely smooth nowadays. You can see by my tail that wasn't always the case, but the meta of the game has reinforced this idea of mine, and unless if you're in a competitive environment like a tournament or something like that, there is no reason to ever mount the bombs on this thing. Ever. Also, When you are flying this thing, you don't want to go in solo because the bots cannot be counted upon to come and clear your tail in time before you get your pilot shot up or your engine shot out or just generally wrecked or outright shot down. So you want to have a wingman, preferably flying something that has the same capability, a boom and zoomer, or ideally another Fw.190A-1. Western and I used to do this a lot with our butcher birds back in the day, and we would just thatch weave back and forth across the same target. And if either of us got a tail, we would keep the same pattern, and if the bandit continued following his target, well, he would be completely set up with a head-on shot coming from the other Fw.190. Teamwork is the key to playing aircraft, and I know that is a refrain that comes up a lot in my reviews and guides, but that's because it's the truth. Teamwork is king in this game, and can be used to trump aircraft that are superior to your own and carry a team to victory when otherwise a carry would be impossible with disorganized, separately operating independent pilots. The Fw.190 has excellent boost. The engine on this thing is just wonderful. You have 20 seconds of boost to work with. Its altitude service ceiling is not the best out there. It's good, but it's not the best. And after you get that initial altitude, doing the vertical boom and zoom with this thing doesn't really work because it'll lose speed while climbing back up. So you want to do with your boom and zoom in this particular aircraft is concentrate on horizontal passes. Just go back and forth maintaining the same altitude and depend on your teammate or wingman to clear any tails that turn around and get behind you and try to chase you, or that come up from below or dive from above. Being a fighter, you've got to keep your eyes peeled in this thing and always be aware of threats that exist in places other than just in front of your aircraft. That is also key to performing well in this thing. I have a battle for you in this. Unfortunately, the recent meta of the game has not really allowed me to perform in any manner that I would consider worth publicly showing off. So I'm reaching back to a point in time when this was still considered a light fighter, so it didn't have the durability that it does now. And ground targets were a bit softer, easier for fighter to take out. The general flight characteristics of the aircraft back then to now haven't been changed very much, though. The Fw.190 has never been a good turning aircraft. Its evasion relies entirely on the excellent amount of roll that the aircraft has. This thing can barrel roll like a champion. Trying to hit an evasive Fw.190 from the tail side is a pretty difficult task, unless if you are also in an aircraft which has an excellent roll rate. To sit back and watch, take note of the angles and distances at which Western and I are tag teaming our opponents, and hopefully you can make it perform for you at least well enough to proceed on to the next tier if the Fw.190 multi-role fighter line is something you want to pursue in World of Warplanes. I hope you enjoy. Good hunting.
You can play and laugh and fiddle. Don't think you can make me sore. I'll be safe and you'll be sorry when the wolf comes to your door.
Afraid of the big bad wolf, big bad wolf, big bad wolf. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Afraid of the big bad wolf, big bad wolf, big bad wolf. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? I'll punch him in the nose, I'll tie him in a knot, I'll kick him in the chin, we'll put him on the spot. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Big bad wolf, big bad wolf. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf?
See, I told you what would happen when that big wolf came around. Only bricks and stones are wolf-proof. Now the tension faces
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Big bad wolf, big bad wolf. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf?
The Big Bad Wolf. 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 The B The Big Bad Wolf. 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 The Big Bad Wolf.